Did you hear about the 16-year-old boy who was brutally shot in cold blood when he went to the wrong house to pick up his siblings? No? Well, we're going to dive in. This is Criminal Justice Corner, where we discuss true crime stories, we give the real details surrounding what occurred, and just in case you find yourself in the same situation, we give you actionable advice and tips on how you can potentially get yourself out. I'm Dr. Jennifer Matthews, the host of the Criminal Justice Corner. I have 16 years of experience in the field of criminal justice and a doctoral degree in criminal justice. I am also an expert in video evidence. Our Criminal Justice Corner store sponsor of the day is Correlations Training. Correlations Training is brand and strategy consulting and event management training. You can find them on Facebook at Correlations Training. Now, this is what we know about this case so far. On the evening of April 13th, 2023, in Kansas City, Missouri, 16-year-old high school junior Ralph Yarl from Staley High School was told by his parent to go pick up his brothers. So Ralph left his cell phone at home. Then he went to go pick up his twin younger brothers. Ralph was told his brothers were located at an address in the 1100 block of Northwest 115th Terrace. However, Ralph ended up in the 1100 block of Northwest 115th Street. We all know that it is very easy to get directions mixed up. Street and terrace can be easily confused if this is your first time in the area. I will admit, anybody that knows me will tell you that I am directionally challenged. Therefore, I can completely understand this mistake. However, Ralph does not realize his mix up yet. So he proceeds to the house on Northwest 115th Street and rings the doorbell. In my opinion, all of this is normal behavior, but what happens next is truly shocking. A male resident comes to answer the door and shoots Ralph, a black teenager, point blank in his head. Then he violently shoots him a second time in the arm. At this point, I am speechless. What could have happened in those split seconds that could have warranted this reaction? I can answer that. Absolutely nothing. There is no legal or non legal justification for a resident to come to their door and brazenly brandish a gun and shoot the person standing there. At this point, there have been no reports that this teenager was armed. So, why would this adult male think that a gun was necessary to answer his door? If that was the case, why open the door in the first place? He could have just talked through the door and let Ralph know that he was at the wrong address. He just didn't have to open that door. But to make matters extremely worse, once Ralph was shot twice unprovoked, he was able to get up on his feet while he was wounded and bleeding to try to seek help. Yet, when he went to a different house on that same block, a resident there refused to render him aid. Ralph had to struggle to go to a second house. There, he was met with another refusal. It wasn't until Ralph reached a third house that he was able to get someone to call for help. And that third house told him they would help him only after he laid on the ground with his hands up. Wow. I need to know what kind of neighborhood this is. Is this a military base? Does the Secret Service live there? Because these people are acting like they have war secrets in their basement that they don't want people to find or something. For them to treat this young man so inhumanely makes no sense to me. Despite all of this, Ralph is clinging to life. He is being treated by medical professionals who are trying to save his life. I'm just thankful that this teenager was able to get to the hospital before it was too late. The Kansas City Police Department did confirm that they took the homeowner into custody, but he was later released. News reports at that time were able to confirm that the alleged shooter was a white male in his 80s. Ralph Yarl's family has retained legal counsel, Lee Merritt and Ben Crump. This unbelievable case has sparked outrage on social media as well as in Kansas City. There are active protests going on right outside the house of the homeowner. People are looking for the police to file some type of charges against this homeowner. As outrageous as this story is, the public wants to see someone held accountable for the life-threatening injuries that Ralph has sustained. When heinous crimes like this happen, as a community, we need to raise awareness. Now, prior to this incident, Ralph was a normal teenager. Ralph played multiple instruments at his school. He described by his teachers, he was described as a musical genius and a kind soul. His goal was to receive an academic or a musical scholarship so that he could attend Texas A&M University for to major in chemical engineering. But all of that changed on April 13th, 2023. Now, we do have an update on this case. On April 17th, 2023, at about 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, Clay County prosecutors announced charges against 84-year-old Andrew Lester. The charges are first-degree assault and armed criminal action against Ralph Yarl. The assault charges is a Class A felony. If found guilty, Lester faces no less than 10 years and up to 30 years to life imprisonment. This is what raising awareness looks like. This is what putting pressure on prosecutors look like. This is what coming together as a community looks like. Additionally, Ralph has been released from the hospital and is now home recovering from his injuries. I'm so glad that he was able to live to tell his side of the story. As we are very well aware, not every victim of a crime gets that chance. So, let's do a quick recap. And we know African American teenager Ralph Yarl was shot twice when he went to the wrong house by Andrew Lester, a white homeowner. Next, Andrew Lester has been charged in relation to this crime. Next, Ralph has been released from the hospital and is recovering from his injuries. Lastly, awareness is the key to receiving justice when it comes to racial injustice. Now, I have been your host, Dr. Jennifer Matthews. You can find me on Instagram at Dr. Jennifer Matthews and Criminal Justice Corner. And don't forget, if you need expert testimony for court cases or law enforcement training, my website is drjennifermatthews.com. And our Criminal Justice Corner store sponsor of the day is Correlations Training. Correlations Training is brand and strategy consulting and event management training. You can find them on Facebook at Correlations Training. I will see you next time on Criminal Justice Corner. Thank you for listening.